Powered by Riverside FM.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, teachers of all ages, welcome to the Fun Time Super Terrific Happy Hour. Welcome, Chandler.
Welcome, Joseph. See if it's... There we go. How's it going? How was the holidays, sir?
It's good. How was yours, man?
I was good. What are you laughing at me? What did I say now?
I'm just like after he's like sound like what's his name? Hank Hill. Yeah, it's okay. Get it done.
Because I can't hear it. So I'm just like, I think it came in. And I'm just like, well, if it didn't, I'll just figure it out when I'm doing iMovie or whatever. It's like, I'll just make sure it's there.
And do like a mind thing.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Huh, I can't.
Are you in the box or whatever? No, I had fun, man. I got to see both sides of the family or whatever, My sister's got a new house, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, I was happy to see people. It's the end of that Thanksgiving break. If you listen to last week's episode, I did it's kind of like the one with our Thanksgivings that we've done in the past. And there was a part, and it ended up making the episode where you were talking about, I think we both talked about it, but like your take on how that week goes. Because Monday, Tuesday seems kind of slowish, right? But then you get to Thursday and Thanksgiving, and then all of a sudden, like it's like any break. Oh, we're over the halfway point now. It just goes super fast, and you're like, oh
yeah.
But I was telling people, I think yesterday and today, I was like, well, in 3 weeks I'll be back on break. It's just 3 more weeks.
Yeah, and that's one thing that kind of like a big thing that I miss about being like K-12 is like I had to work the day before Thanksgiving. Like I had to go working the day before Thanksgiving, and then for like the winter break, Christmas Eve is like the first day I have off. Like I don't get like the full week off, so it's like
you're like wah, wah. You're like, hey,
yeah. I'm like what, and then I feel like I'm kind of snobby-ish when I think about it. I'm like, what? I don't get 2 full weeks. I only get a week and a half. What kind of life is this?
You're like I'm spoiled. What the heck?
Yeah, because I'm like,
hey,
I only get a week and a half off, and I still get vacation days that I can store up. This is crap.
They're like, cry me a river, teacher. While you're at it,
I don't know, like anybody that's non-education people is like, screw you.
I'll jump to the headlines real quick.
Here are today's effing holidays.
Speaking of also the holidays, last week's episode, I learned something. I think I learned this on the late night show with Jimmy Kimmel or whatever it's called. Right? Did you know like the Friday after Thanksgiving is also known as Brown Friday because it's a big plumber holiday? Well, it's not a holiday, but apparently a lot of plumbers get called on the Friday after Thanksgiving for toiletry reasons. So I was like, hey,
ain't that some poop?
Yeah, exactly. Learn something new, right? All right. So this week though, now this episode is into the December, man. So we're getting near the end of the calendar year, right?
I know.
Here it is. Sorry. It's out of order. It's throwing me off. So December 5th holidays. Today is International Ninja Day. Unleash your inner ninja and celebrate International Ninja Day with awesome ninja-themed activities, recipes, and crafts. So Ninja Day. It's also Bartender Appreciation Day. Raise your glasses and cheers to all the hardworking bartenders out there on National Bartender Appreciation Day. Let's show them some love. I forgot to remind my one bartender that I know. I'll make sure he knows. I'll make sure he gets it. So that's pretty cool,
Like, I appreciate you. In case you didn't know.
Exactly. I told a side note, how we, especially me, you like to bounce back and forth. Sorry, I feel like I'm losing my voice right now. I went to watch Manchester United today, and they won, which was good because the game was at 6 a.m. our time. And it's not fun when you show up at 6 a.m. and your team's not playing well. But I have a thing, like, we show up, I was like, for the supporters group, I was like, if you come here at 6 a.m., I'll buy you around. I'm like, it's early as can be. If you wake up, you got yourself a free drink. So I only had to buy a few drinks today because not a lot of people show up at 6 a.m., man. But
I would think not.
It's all good. It's all good.
Your buddy Al alcoholic shows up at 6 a.m. to get a free drink.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to the headlines.
It's time for this week's edition of Joey and Jandler's Headlines. Yay! Hooray!
By the way, that guy you were talking about, he was just listening. He's like, hey, Troy mentioned me. I made the episode. Hey, so I told you, we're still going to do our headlines, but I started thinking, like, you know how you and I think we try not to keep it that serious, right? Would you agree there? We try not to be too serious. So, but there's some stuff that's going on nationwide for us in the teacher world. And I'm just like, we should probably make fun of this as well, right? And now, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new segment, News from Around the World with Joy and Jumbo. So I'm going to read a little bit of headlines I generated here, right? And then I'll get your take on it, okay? So headline number 1. Since the government rules that teachers are no longer professionals. Ah, yes, teachers. Those people who get advanced degrees, manage the emotional chaos of 27 tiny humans at once, differentiate instruction, diffuse tantrums, heal trauma, prevent fights, teach reading, math, science, and sometimes basic hygiene, apparently no longer considered professionals. We're just very organized babysitters now with a crippling addiction to laminating, apparently. Right? I sent to I found this on Facebook, and I sent it to some of my teachers. Okay, since we're no longer professionals, and I'm about to get your take on this. I was like, do we have to go to professional development days now? Because now we're just, what are we now if we're not pros? We're just people that work.
I saw your text the other day, and I was like, that's a fair argument.
Yeah, it's like.
Do you become professional once you hit a certain amount of hours? Then like a ninja or a karate person? You get the white belt.
Yeah, we're not black belt yet. So we're like white belts. Is what you're saying?
You're like unprofessional. Then you become like semi-pro when you hit like the yellow belt of PD hours.
Now is that only going to affect, I guess, people going to college to be educators? I feel like it's pushing people out of the profession, though, which just puts more and more work on us, Well,
but the thing is, like, I don't know. I guess if that's really the whole onus behind the move was just to say, hey, like, let's put a cap on the amount of money somebody can borrow towards this degree. Why not just do that as opposed to change the category? Because, like, I feel like, I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I feel like there's probably could have been like some workshop done on how to like push that message out a little bit. Because one understands like educators and like nurses and stuff like that. Basically, like a lot of people that were considered like essential workers. Yeah. Whatever COVID happened, are now not professional. And it's like,
also a lot of those jobs where like, so I know this because when I would teach social studies, you have goods and services, right? We provide a service. That's what teachers are. We're not a good. We're a service. A lot of these quote unquote career fields that are now no longer considered professionals. Do you know what gender they're mostly associated with? Women.
Transgender.
Like almost like, they're like, they're like nurses. That's mostly women. So you're no longer pros. Teachers, it's mostly women. Never like, no longer pros. And it's just like, dude, come on now. But no, I texted my teacher friends and I was like, I sent them that thing I saw on Facebook and they kind of laughed. I was like, don't worry, I'll ask. I'll bring it up. Ask the principal. Hey, do we have to go to these PD days now? We're no longer professional. So.
Well, I mean, it's about like, what are you supposed to be like? Oh, well, no, that's not what that means. Well, that's what it says. And that's one of those things like, you're not being a jerk. You're just like, okay, well, I don't know. I guess try not to be serious, but at the same time, like being serious, like, well, it's a slap in the face. Like, hey,
I feel like this is like
the people in the front lines.
And honestly, I'm not making fun of you, but I thought of you when I first read this because I was like, man, Joey said this about a couple years ago that ways to try and have to pay teachers less. You know what I mean? Like it's like a money making thing, and it's like, and so I'm like, okay, is this helping push towards private education? They're like, screw the teachers, they can do whatever. That actually kind of leads into my next headline. And I think we've talked about this on the phone a lot, but lawmakers with no teaching experience whatsoever keep overloading us teachers on our workloads. Because, of course, it makes total sense that the people making the rules for teachers have never actually taught in their life. It's like having a cat design airline safety protocols. Sure, it'll look cute, but suddenly every seat is a litter box and turbulence is handled with hissing. It's I feel this is another way for them to put more and more stuff on us, and they just expect us to be like, oh, this is normal. You know, I do this all the time.
That litter box thing might be a good idea though, because that like when you get that trauma and you start to throw up like air sickness, bags right there.
Well, but wouldn't it be like a litter box that you sit in and people like throwing up right in front of people?
Yeah, just like that in between your legs.
This is me spiraling. I read on Facebook there was some lady, I guess that, did you hear this? She won the lotto and then defecated on her boss's desk, and so she got arrested. Like imagine you walk in and she's just pooping on your desk, like, hey, I'll be done in a minute, and you're like, what did I do? She's like, I won the lotto, I don't care. But apparently she's going to jail for it, so hope it was worth it, right?
There's some of the money. What would be funny is if like she wins and she doesn't realize that she doesn't win as much as she thought she would, and so she's like,
Yeah.
I'm only taking home $40K. I kind of need this job still.
But I think a couple of years ago I had texted some other teachers I was working with, and I was like, I won the lottery, I'm not coming in today, and I had won the lottery, a $3 scratch off. So that was my follow up joke. I was like, yeah, I only won $3, so don't worry about it. I'll be
I'm
there.
gonna take half a personal day.
But all right, so those are my world headlines. Now my local headlines. Dude, life skills. These kids, I have these like lights that they're like these push lights, right? Because I got an idea from a couple of the teachers. And it's like, you know, when a girl goes to the bathroom, they push the light. A boy goes to the bathroom, they push the light, so I can tell when somebody's out.
Okay.
Somehow, whenever they push this button, many of these kids somehow push it and kind of twist it. And so then the thing falls off. And when it does, the batteries come out. And then they don't know how to put the batteries back in. Like I put on my headlines, kids can't put in a freaking battery. But they can't put in the battery the correct way, like the plus and minus sign. And then they're like, Mr. Bing, it doesn't work. And I look at it, I'm like, yeah, because it's not incorrectly. I was like, you have to put the plus in where it says plus. It's one of those life things that I'm like, I don't say anything, but in my head, I'm like, how do you not know this? No one's ever showed you how to put in a battery? Crazy, man.
Because mommy and daddy probably do it all the time.
Crazy. Just crazy how stuff works now, you know? You know, your kids at home do that? Do they know how to put in batteries correctly?
Yes.
Or everything's just charged?
No, I try to teach them the crap because I'm like, I see all the stuff that happens in schools, and I'm like, if you just know the basics, you're probably way ahead of a big chunk of the population. So like, I don't want to. I'm like, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, so that way you're not like one of these little.
You yell at them, learn how to do it. I don't want you to be that kid that can't put in the battery correctly.
Like you think about it, like you said, man, like you get a lot of kids that don't know how to do certain basic stuff that like when we knew at their age. And then like so they're like, oh, I can't, and it's that learned helplessness. And I'm like, if I can just combat that, like they're already ahead of like probably like 75% of the population right there because they're like, I don't know how to do it. I'm just gonna give up until somebody helps me.
I was telling my niece, and I'm gonna text her here on the side. She's thinking about being a teacher, but I was telling her about some of the basic life skills, like the kids don't know, like how to use a broom. And she's like, do you teach them? And I was like, no, I just kind of laugh at them. I'm like, how do you not know how to use a broom? I may show them here and there, but I'm like, I had to teach them how to get a damp paper towel, how to get a little wet water on it and squeeze it out. I was like, man, you know, there's certain things that I don't have time to teach you how to do, you know, but I just kind of like, well, I'll do it. You don't need I don't like, and I was telling them, they were laughing at me. The kids always want to get the broom out because let's say they drop a piece of paper and it's balled up and they want to get the broom out to sweep it up. Like, just grab it. It's like, I'm not asking you to sweep up like chip dust all around the room. Just pick up the paper, you know, which isn't that hard to do.
We, the missus and I were at Sam's the other day and we were like, you know what, we're almost done. We're going to get out. We're leaving. Let's grab a real quick bite to eat because it's cheap, right? And so we're sitting, me across from one another, and this lady's there with like her grandkids or whatever, and the grandkids are just like losing their mind. They're just everywhere, like freaking jungle gym kind of thing. And so one of the kids goes and puts the cup down on the table right next to us, and the cup just falls over because for some reason the grandma didn't tell him to put a freaking lid.
Was there like soda in it or was it water?
all soda, no ice.
Oh yeah,
God forbid we have. I mean, free refills. We don't want to put ice in there
yeah.
because
Hey,
you
don't
can't
make fun of
refill it
people
again.
that don't do ice. I don't do ice.
But
Of course, I
is it
put a
when you
lid
don't
on.
do ice and when you have free refills and stuff like that, or is it you don't do ice because you realize you're leaving?
I don't do ice because when the ice melts, it waters down your drink. That's why I don't do ice.
I don't do
I'll
ice if
I'll
I'm gonna if it's
I'll
like
ice my water or like if I have like a mixed drink. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I don't like how it just. I feel like it takes away the soda I can enjoy. You know what I mean? Because I get less
If
and
you're
less.
taking
But
it with you, I try not to do ice because then you can get more volume for your money, right?
oh
But if
yeah,
you're gonna be
fine, yeah.
sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'll do this, and then I can dump the ice out and just enjoy the drink right there, whatever. But it hits, and it starts. It's just like a waterfall all over the table, and it starts like splattering on the ground next to us. And so a little bit's getting on me. I'm not getting covered, but it's getting. I can feel it like a couple of droplets hitting on my leg, and so it's getting on my shoe. A
Were
little
you
bit.
next door? Like were you like right next to them or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
And the little kid that did it like runs over to grandma. Grandma's like 5 feet away at the soda station, filling up another Coke to hand to another kid so he can go spill it on somebody else. I guess I don't even know what. But he runs over and like grabs a hold of grandma and like he's all looking back at like the stuff going everywhere, and it's like falling over the side like a beautiful like
Cascading
what are they called,
waterfall.
like the
Like
yeah, like one of
yeah.
the infinity pools where it's like it's just falling over the edge and it's just going everywhere.
Oh yeah, like when the water's just recycling.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so but except it's not because it's just getting all over the floor. Or the wife's like, "Hey, you want to move?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's just move over, just in whatever, right?" Because the table at this point has been done, but it's kind of still tripped with it, so it's like whatever. Good thing I did, because the old lady comes over with some napkins and just starts pushing it off the table, and
Towards
so
y'all.
the rest of the yeah, like towards like wherever, and so it's just splattering more everywhere. And I was like, "Soak it up, you dumb old lady! Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, I even took like some napkins and like made like a barrier so it wouldn't splash towards me, but they soaked up and kept going through. And she's just all because it was in her way, I guess. And after she made a big enough mess, then she just went and sat at the table next to it. And I'm like, but she didn't go tell anybody. Not like, hey, so we might want to clean this. And I was just like, dude, like these are like those simple like societal rules. Like, hey, I made a mess. Like, I'm sorry. Can I
this
help clean?
this is where
She was
kids
like,
learn
yeah,
it from. It's
yeah,
like
because she was just like, oh well. Doesn't say anything.
yeah.
Doesn't even like. She looked at me, but she didn't acknowledge and say, hey, did it get on you? I'm sorry if it did. Like nothing. Just
Oh yeah, I
eh.
can't even apologize. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know
And I was
what
like,
would have been funny is if she pulled like the Big Daddy and just started pulling out newspapers just to put down on it, like he did in the movie. She's like, "Hey, let's put this paper down
just
here."
lay some newspaper, keep it going. But I was just like, didn't acknowledge anything, didn't say anything, and I'm just like, dude, like 100% opposite direction of what I would have done. I'd have been like, oh, dude, let me clean it. Hey, go tell one of the people that works here I made a mess. I'm not going to clean this, like something. But she did
Yeah.
none of it. I'm just like, and like, and that's where you get like kids that are just like, do you do this? Why would that be wrong? Because
Well,
the adults that are at home don't teach them the way that the world's. I mean, obviously being out for like Black Friday stuff. Not that we
mhm.
did like crazy Black Friday stuff, but there was like we were like, hey, we're gonna be out and about. Let's go buy a few things. The amount of people that I saw cough or sneeze as if COVID never existed,
And
just
didn't cover their mouth.
and just like that, and I was like, not going down that aisle because that dude's face exploded right there, and just
They like
doing it like
sneeze
it
on
was
their
no
hand
big deal.
and then hold it out. Let me say hi. Let me shake your
Almost as
hand.
if it,
Hoochoo.
almost as if it was gross. But speaking of like too, it's crazy. Like when COVID was still a thing, we still had to wear the masks.
Yeah.
I remember watching a lady that pulled her mask down so she could cough,
Yeah.
and she
I
got
remember you told me
corrected
that.
by somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she got corrected by somebody at the store, and then she was like, "Well, if I do that, then germs will be in here with me." And we're like, "They're your
That's the
germs.
point. That's the whole
They're
point,
your germs." And I
No,
was like, "Whatever."
yeah, I was telling you, like, I don't really teach the kids how to use a broom, right? I'm not like, hey, hold it like this. But when they spill like juice, because I mean, most of the time they have either water or like juice, right?
Yeah.
When they spill water, like, hey, go get a paper towel. when they spill juice, I got to teach them. Look, you got to get a wet wipe or something. You can't just dry it up because if you dry it up, it's going to be sticky. And I have to explain to them about this. Like it's got to be a little wet. You got to get some soap or whatever to kind of clean it up. Or you get this wet wipe. Like I said, otherwise it's going to be sticky in like 5 seconds. They do the same thing with syrup and they just want to dry it up with like a dry paper towel. I'm like, it's going to be sticky. And I'm just like, I think I have inside of them. I'm like, here you go. Because they'll do it. And I'm just like, that's not right. You need this wet wipe or whatever. But you do it all
Don't be
wrong.
stupid.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid.
Right. That's all the headlines. I'm going to take it to a break and then we'll come back and do the second half. Is that cool with you? Or you got anything you want to add?
I'll get you.
All right, man. Here's for Joseph. And actually, after the break, we got our holiday song.
We say pros, gun bay, cheers, mate, and cheers, mate again, or simply cheers. Sometimes it's autosante, other times it's cheers, UF and hoser. We also say sade, salute, saluti, or tag a skull. Let's all say Nazdarofi in the Russian way. In Vietnam we shout out yo, Walugi Wawa makes our Africa glow. In Portugal it's a solid South. In Bud Mo, Ukraine's here to stay. Taiwan says Kanpa, drink it down with pride. Then someone slams the table, next round they cry. In Thailand we clink and shout out chong. Then back to the bar till the liquor's gone. For Jamaica it's a loud Jamon. No matter the place we drink till dawn. In Israel they shout L'chaim with cheer. Bangladesh says joy hawk, raise your beer. Poland sings Nastrovi with pride. Lithuania's a svei karton worldwide. In India we say cheers. If you're bold, Hungary says Eggeseged, don't go too slow. New Caledonia joins in with Ala Votra, let it flow. From Ghana it's Akpateshi, let the good times roll. And Serbia shouts Chivili from the soul. Ooh, in Morocco we cry Bissau with flair. Ecuador says Salud, fiesta everywhere. And in Finland we say Kippis, raise your beer in the air. That's how Troy and Chandler cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers around the world.
Hi there, I'm here to help Choi and Chandler to read an advertisement for BuyBlackett.com. Please shop BuyBlackett.com. Are you looking for unique gifts at unbeatable prices? Then look no further. BuyBlackett.com has quality merchandise for everyone on your list, from gifts for cat and dog lovers, to American fans, beer enthusiasts, and even Jesus lovers. As for teachers, we didn't forget about you. Please don't miss our funny attire to brighten up your classroom. So bring a smile to your loved ones' faces and shop BuyBlackett.com today. Tell them Chewy and Chandler sent you.
Hi there, Ryan Reynolds here on behalf of my friends Joey and Chandler. You may know me from movies where I either save the world or ruin Thanksgiving. But today, folks, I'm not here to sell you cologne, crypto, or questionable NFTs. I'm actually here to tell you about Fish.audio. This isn't really me talking right now. This is my voice, made by Fish.audio, which frankly is terrifying. It sounds exactly like me, and trust me, I've heard my voice in 87 trailers. This is better. Whether you're a podcaster with a potato microphone, a game developer building an army of space dolphins, or just lonely and want a perfect Morgan Freeman to read your grocery list out loud to you, Fish.audio has you covered. Fish.audio is easily one of the best voice generation platforms I have ever used, which is saying something, because I've done voiceover for a toothpaste brand in 4 languages I don't even speak. And speaking of that, Fish.audio is cross-lingual, which means it supports 13 different languages. Their amazing program also allows you to clone voices. Fish.audio make your voice legendary, or at least make my voice say weird things. I legally can't stop you either way.
What do you think? Remember, if you remember last year, you and I joked about how the last year's one sounded kind of Backstreet Boyish and syncish.
Yeah.
Do you think the same thing now? Or do you think this sounds a little more peppy?
A little more festive, a little more
little more
holiday-ish. I don't know if I would necessarily go 100% like Christmassy.
Well, I got the
But
bells
definitely.
in there.
Yeah, but
But it does sound like a rockapella version, though. But
Rockapella. Where in the
yeah, I
world's
know
Carmen San Diego?
you're laughing because we're like rockapella. We both do it. I wonder how many people know what rockapella is. I was
I know.
uh uh was where the world Carmen San Diego, that group. I was so excited when they did like a Folgers coffee commercial, like
I was
years
just thinking
later,
about that actually.
and I was like, "Hey, that's rockapella," and I was just like, "I wonder." And I remember back then that was what, early 2000s, and even then I
Yeah,
was just like, "I don't think people know who this group is," but they did that
yeah.
rockapella, and
I
they were
don't
good,
think
by the
it
way.
would.
They were good.
I don't think it hit
They're like,
where like I think that Folgers wanted it to hit. Honestly,
yeah,
because they probably were just like, hey, there's a bunch of guys that enjoy coffee together. That's good for them.
like,
You're like, if you never watched Carmen San Diego, you didn't. I mean, I had no idea. I thought they were just for the show. I
yeah.
didn't realize like they were a group that got hired by the show. I was like, oh,
You
it's like
know,
what you guys.
what's funny is every now and then, every episode. Well, I mean, not every episode, but every few episodes, I feel like you and I we do a lot of pop culture references anyway. But we kind of circle back. We bring them up. We brought that show up multiple times, right? And what I think is crazy is when we were both watching that show, we didn't even know each other because I wasn't living. I hadn't moved to the high school yet. I was still like doing middle school stuff, or maybe even late elementary. But we both. It's funny. I remember we both talked about how we'd watch it and they would do that thing at the end about like finding the states, and we're like, we both knew what it was. Hey, I know the state. I know the state. We'd have been good if we got stuck with North America. I don't know about you, but I would have struggled with Africa and Asia. I'd have been like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, no, Europe has a lot of tiny countries. I don't know some, but
and
there's a lot of
but
small
it
stuff.
sucked. That show made me so mad because I think I only watched like one time probably where somebody actually got the United States. It actually won. There's the rest of them
Yeah,
they're like Texas. I'm like right there, right
it's
there.
it's the big one on the bottom.
I'm like that's Montana, you stupid.
All right, so this second half episode is brought to you by what Joey thinks of geography. Or there was a Saturday Night Live episode. It was a Game of Thrones thing with oh my god, who was the dude that was in The Hangover with the beard? I can't. Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis.
So yeah, but they did a Game of Thrones game show episode, and the word was geography, and his character called it geography, and it was just kind of laughing. It's like, so let's talk about some geography, and they're like, what? But no, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the last day before break, and then I have a little festive game we're gonna play, and you're gonna have to kind of trust me as I read the options because I don't want to project it to you because I guess I'm still getting that what do you call it, the echo? So obviously we don't want the echo, but dude, so the Friday before break, at my school it was called family picnic. Now I had no idea what to really expect. Dude, basically, there's 8 of us third grades, right? They tell us, and I think it was third and fourth grade had lunch between 11:30 and 12. And we all go to the cafeteria. And us third grades, we have like a stage next to the cafeteria. And I think fourth grade was right outside the cafeteria. But you get your kids sitting down, and parents just come up to you and they sign out their kids. You give them this little ticket, and it has their kid's name on it and the teacher, because they can take them home, right? So
Yeah.
like there's at least, just spitballing, about 170 third grade students, pretty close to it. By 12 o'clock, there were only 27. About 100 so that's almost, so that's basically 30. So almost 150 students or more were signed out then, or about 140 or more were signed out by the parents, and they just went and started Thanksgiving early. But so then we all merged into one class, and it's like, I remember we were eating, us teachers were eating together because we didn't get a lunch, right? Our lunch was trying to get them checked out. We had to eat lunch afterwards. And sorry, I'll get my phone's going off left and right now from some of the teachers. But so we had all the kids in one room. We're watching a movie, Air Buddies, by the way, which I'd never seen Air Buddies. Some of the kids were playing on the computer with teacher approved websites, which I had to go around and these kids want to get on like all these gaming websites. I was like, no, you can't do that. Some kids were like in like crafts, and then we went out and did recess, and then about 2:10, we all went back to our classrooms or our groups. Like me and the other two ladies, we have what we call a triad. And so I think one of the teachers was like, "What should we do?" I was like, "Hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Let's all take them to your room first, right?" Which is only about maybe, I think there were less than 10 kids. There were R3s, and I was like, "Make them clean your room," because I want them to clean my room, right? So just make them clean your room, stack your chairs, sweep up or whatever. And then I got back, and when they finished her room, which took like 10 minutes, I was like, "All right, I'll come to my room," and we did the same thing in my room. And then we went across the hall, and they did something in the same thing in the third room. And then, but after they cleaned my room, I put on like some kids bop music videos, and kids are like singing to it. Like it was just basically from 2 to 3. We were just trying to like, but the whole day was just trying to keep them, engaged in something. Those party days, people don't realize these party days. The kids that don't go home, you're like, "Nah, I got to figure out what to do with you." And it was a
I
little
like how
wet,
you-
so we couldn't just like go run in the mud. It's like we got to be on a certain spot.
I like how you admit on the air that you like engaged in child labor. Like 3 different
Exactly.
areas.
Exactly, man. We put them to work, man. I tell them all the time. Put them to work. I did this thing called I called it the Wheel of Fun. So the first half of the day we rotated for about an hour, 3 groups. And so I called it the Wheel of Fun. It's one of those like pick a name, spin the wheel thing on the computer. And I had written
Yeah.
some of the students in there with like some boring jobs, like so and so is going to take a test. So and so is going to sweep the class. So and so is going to paint the walls or whatever, right? So and so is going to practice walking in the hallway or whatever, right? And I spun it each one of class. I tell them Wheel of Fun. They'd be like, "Yeah," and then I show them the wheel on the other side. They're like, "Boo!" And then I'd spin the wheel, and one kid, one of my homeroom, there was this one kid. I put his name has to take a math test, and so we all laughed. We all, "Hey, let's cheer him on. He's gonna take a math test." He
Look, the
kind of
kids
got
will
the joke.
screw
The
you.
other 2 classes, like one girl, it was her name, it landed on her name, and it was like she's gonna paint the walls. And then the last class, so and so is gonna sweep the floor. And both those 2 are like, "Do I really have to do that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just joking." It's like they're like, "I really have to work?" And I was like, "No."
You'd be
I
funny
told
as when they start crying.
Yeah, I told the girl with that landed on for the paint. I was like, "We're gonna get the paint. You got to show up tomorrow. You got to be here on Saturday and paint." And she's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "See, they don't get sarcasm. It's like they just don't understand. Clearly, I'm messing around, but they're like, I don't get it." Ah, that's how I get my giggles, man. That's how I get my jollies. It's just playing around.
Oh, watching children get sad. That's how I make.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I entertain
All right,
myself.
Hey, so Joseph, here is a Joking with Jan's global Thanksgiving trivia game.
All right, everybody, come on down to Joking with Jan. That's right, here's a game show you can play at home. Try and test your knowledge and see how many more you get correct than incorrect. So stick around and have fun and laugh listening to Joking with Jan.
All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit with you here. Yeah, Joking with Jans. Now, I'm gonna read it to you, right? Because you can't really see it, but and I'll read you all the choices and let's see how you do, right? The
I'm glad
United
you clarified
Kingdom.
that. So that
Well,
way
I mean-
it didn't. I'm gonna read it to you because you can't see it, not because you can't read.
Yeah, no, well, yeah. I'm gonna read it to you, Joseph. And they're like the listeners like, okay, United Kingdom. What's the British equivalent of Thanksgiving called? Is it Harvest Festival, Tea Time Supreme, Crumpet Celebration, or the Royal Gratitude Day?
I would think Harvest Festival seems like something like that would make sense.
Oh, good job, sir. Harvest Festival is celebrated in British churches and schools. It's basically Thanksgiving, but with more politeness and fewer cranberries. So, good job, sir. In Morocco, what would Moroccans traditionally celebrate during harvest time? Couscous Day, date harvest festivals, Tagine Thanksgiving, or mint tea ceremonies?
What was the second one again?
Date harvest festivals.
I'm gonna go with that one.
All right, let's see if you're correct. Ooh, 2 for 2, Cho. Morocco celebrates date harvest festivals in oasis communities. It's like Thanksgiving, but in the desert with dates instead of cranberries. Much sweeter deal. In Canada, why It says, why does Canada celebrate Thanksgiving in October? Better weather for parades, harvest season ends earlier, to avoid Black Friday, or maple syrup production peaks then?
Oh, I would think harvesting is
Harvest
earlier.
season ends early. Man, you're a genius. No wonder you're a doctor, right? 3 for 3.
Wait, what they celebrate? I didn't realize they celebrate Thanksgiving though, because technically they didn't get discovered there, did they? I don't even know.
Well, they were French territory back then. Well,
Right?
although
But like,
it wouldn't have started when ours started. You're right. So Canada's harvest season ends earlier due to the colder climate. Plus, they get to say we did it first to us, their southern neighbors, every year. So
whatever.
those nice, gentle people.
Canadians.
I know, right? All right, in Italy, sir, what Italian tradition is similar to giving thanks for harvest? Pasta blessing, grape harvest festivals, pizza appreciation day, or gelato gratitude? I feel like
I'd
some of these
say
are starting to be really easy.
I know, like I'm like all the
The
was it
grape harvest
thing?
festivals?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yep,
I was
you're
like,
right.
something to do with wine.
Italian grape harvest festivals celebrate their wine harvest with community feasts. It's like
I might end
Thanksgiving,
up-
but with more wine and better singing.
I think I might
You know,
end up
that-
jinxing myself on this because but I'm like, it's almost like, what would be the best way to say hello to somebody in public? Punching him in the face, kicking him in the stomach, cutting
Shaking
off
their
their
hand.
ear, or say, "How are you doing?" It's all hard
Dude.
options here.
You know, your wine comment reminded me. We had a staff meeting, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, and the PTO was there, right? And they were talking about like, what can we do to help you teachers out, right? What are some things you guys want, like gifts or whatever? And I was just joking with my teacher group. I was just like, fermented grapes, right? To be like, hey, they want wine without saying they want wine. Some people got what I was talking about. Others are like, what are you talking about? All right, this is for
Just
my
get out of my group.
This is for my Finland friends. What Finnish tradition celebrates the end of harvest season? Sauna Thanksgiving, Cakery Festival, Reindeer Appreciation, or Aurora Gratitude?
The second one, the cake festival. Is that what it was?
Yeah, dude, what's going on, man? It's like the fourth one that's been the second choice in a row. Cakery was Finland's ancient harvest festival. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Modern Finns might celebrate it in a sauna because everything is better with steam and birch branches.
I don't know about
Couple
that one.
more. All right, I'll do 2 more. Okay, this is South Korea. What's the Korean harvest festival called that's similar to Thanksgiving? Kimchi Day, Chuseok, Bulgogi Fest, or Seoul Food Festival? Seoul, like spelled like Seoul, South Korea. Like soul food.
I feel like we're on a streak of B's. I'm gonna go with the second one. Whatever that was. Chichawaka.
I was hoping you'd be wrong with Chuseok. You're right. Chuseok is Korea's harvest festival where families gather to honor ancestors and eat way too much delicious food. Does that sound similar? And then the last question, I'm just gonna put B for Choey because he's annoying. All right. What did the Pilgrims originally call their Thanksgiving feast? Harvest Home, Turkey Day, Gratitude Gathering, or the Great Gobble?
Well, I guess the first one seems like that's what I'm saying. Like most of these
Do
things,
you want Harvest Home or do you want Turkey Day?
I want to say the Harvest Home.
All right, let's see if you're right. Man, again, great job, Choey. The Pilgrims did call it Harvest Home. They had no idea that they were starting a tradition that would involve millions of people arguing over cranberry sauce recipes. So stop it there, but halfway through, maybe I should get that link of the game and put it on our socials. If anyone ever wants to play, it's here. That's actually what I should do. But
Beat my score, people. I dare you.
Cho was at 100%, so good luck. All right, so we're about to wrap it up. I'm gonna go look at. All right, speaking of social media plugs, right? That's what we call in the biz segue, right? You can, and I'll put this on these socials coming this week. So if you follow us on X and TikTok, we're at Choey and Jan, CHOEY, the letter N, JN. Threads and Insta were at Choey and Jan 2, CHOEY, the letter N, JAN, and then TOO. Facebook, Chandler Bing, and YouTube, Chandler Bing, or at Chandler Bing 969. So anything you want to add before we pull the plug and get ready to start enjoy the cold months, the quote unquote cold months here in South Texas?
No, nothing to add. I'm just excited. It feels nice. It feels nice to walk out and not start to sweat right as soon as you walk outside. That's for
It
sure.
does feel nice. I wonder, like, hopefully it lasts longer than like 3 or 4 days, you know? Hopefully it
It's
lasts for a
supposed to be
little bit.
till like, I think Saturday's back when it actually gets up into the 70s.
Okay, well, see, Saturdays isn't bad. But, you know, when it gets to the high 80s, low 90s, you're like, man, it's December. You know, come on, people.
Yeah.
But,
Because you're
all
kicking
right,
off the jackets and everything else, and you're like, "Ah, I wish I was in shorts and flops."
dude, I don't know. It's maybe because I've lived here long enough now, or whatever, right? I mean, I'm kind of gotten over my cold blood when I was living in Illinois. But I wore a hoodie today. The game was at 6 a.m. Dude, I walked into the pub and I was like sweating. Like I was like, the hoodie was too hot for me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was only 50 degrees outside, but still, I was just like, man, I shouldn't be like hot because I'm wearing sleeves, you know?
It was cool. It felt good until the wind blew. And then it was like a
Oh
piercing
yeah,
wind.
it was very windy today. Yeah. So, all right, pulling the plug, sir.
Yank it.